welcome everybody to Polyglots Talk.
Welcome.
Welcome. We're live. I'm here with beautiful Bront'e. Hello, people.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining today. We got Aksa. Hello, Aksa. How are you doing? I'm very scared, Haru, who's screaming. I'm gonna do an impression of what Haru is like when she comes in the chat, and it's Rah! That was it. Now we got Maki-chan. Hello. What ad did you get? I'm very curious. And also, hi Sydney-chan, Joanna, welcome. Hi, is this Bryony? I think it's Bryony. It's happening, yes. Guys, welcome in. Today we're talking about September blues and
yes,
and ways to overcome this a little bit of a how to say, going downwards, that is our feeling right after
the anxiety, the
to start again with a new.
I think it's mostly anxiety though.
yes So we're gonna get into that, and we want to know, do you have September blues? Because when we were chatting between ourselves, we were like, I get what you're feeling. I wonder if this is like a feeling that everybody has when summer is ending, and it's like there are a lot of positive things of like, it's not as hot anymore, you can cozy up, and Halloween is coming and all these like cozy vibes. I don't know, pumpkin spice latte if you're if you're into that, but it can be a little bit intimidating to feel like you need to be productive again, etc. So I wonder, are you guys feeling this September blues? Is it too early? Or maybe you never felt it in your life. Maybe you're excited in September. Who knows? Let us know in the chat, guys. We are very, very curious. Okay. While you think about that, I'm going to introduce ourselves real quick. Because, hello everybody, we're Gladly Global. We're a project made by polyglots for language learners to find a community where everybody feels welcome and there's no, judgment for your level or your methods. And we try to be as welcoming as possible to everybody. In a way that we needed a space like this. We couldn't find a space that was like that online, and so we created it. So feel free to join and try it out if you're new, and feel free to use the spaces. I know a lot of people online because a lot of our community interactions happen on Discord, by the way. There's your call to action to join our Discord, by the way.
Join.
So a lot of people feel very anxious because this is the type of people who we attract. A lot of people feel anxious about putting themselves out there because they have these traumatic experiences with other communities of language learners where people need to express how they are better than everybody, or like it can be very, very hard to be in community. So no worries, I will be your knight in a shining armor because I'm always on Discord, so I protect you. That is not, those kind of things are not welcome on our Discord server, so that's a safe space for all the language learners. By the way, who are we? I'm Anna. I am a polyglot. I study languages at academic level, and I also teach languages. So I have a lot of experience day by day with being a learner, being a student, being a teacher. So if you have any questions, by the way, this is the right place. Of course, we have a theme, but we are happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much. Also, I see a wild Ray in the chat. Oh my god, hi guys. Good morning, Ray. We started without you, but let us know if you feel like you want to join midway. We can also do that because we are cool as heck. Just saying. All right, sorry. By the way, Bront'e, yes, who are you? What are you doing here?
Yes. What am I doing here? What is this place? So yes, my name is Bront'e. also known on the interwebs as the Polyglot Box everywhere. I am also, well, I didn't take my language studies to like pass bachelor's or anything, but I am also a learner and informal teacher, because mostly I drag my friends into saying, I'm going to teach you a language now. And mostly a language coach. I focus mostly on like introverted language learners, and I tend to find myself surrounded by equally neurodivergent language learners who are like, these things are not working for me. I struggle with talking with people. My energy is low. With a long list of languages and various stages of fluency. Um, yeah, I'm just an overall nerd, and I embrace the nerdiness, and I feel like most of us do when it comes to learning languages.
Yes.
We're like,
yes.
this is our life now.
Yes, let the nerds gather around. Come, children.
Yes.
Let's all
exactly.
let's all be here together. Yes. All right.
Yes.
So the first question we asked during this live stream, by the way, anybody can answer. I see some answers in the chat a little bit. We're talking about September blues today. So the feeling of summer ending in school or work starting again. Depending on what you do, could be a different time. Maybe not exactly right now. Maybe later in the month. Maybe it already happened or something. Or maybe you never felt anything like it. Do you have this feeling, guys? Because we were creating the theme for today, and we were like, oh my goodness, it's September. Now we need to do the things, you know. Let's talk about these feelings and how we can make it better for ourselves, and maybe we can come up with some nice ideas together with you, because we also struggle with this. Let me say hi to.
If you don't experience with it.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
No, go. I think there's a delay,
if you don't
by
have
the way.
experience with it.
Yeah, sorry, there's a delay between us, so it's super awkward, but no worries. So talk on top of me, it's fine. Yes.
Fine. I was just saying that if you don't experience it, don't start. Don't say, oh, I'm missing out.
No. No. That's not good.
Don't do that to yourself.
You
are in a good place right now.
Yes. Please teach us. Maybe you have some insights on how to do things better. Or better, like in a way that is more, more demure, more mindful. I have this meme in my head, by the way. I'm gonna reference it so many times.
No, it definitely happens. Anytime I see the word mindful now, I'm like, oh, very mindful.
Yes, very demure, very mindful. Perfect. Let me say hi also to Kyber. Thank you for coming over, Mimi. And let me read a little bit here. So Bryony says, I feel like I have September blues more now that I'm in a full-time job and don't have that like fresh start feeling of starting a new school year. Sad. That is so real, Bryony. I get it, because maybe many people who are here like studying, right? So I am between those people who, when it was September, I was excited of starting the new year, like buying maybe new notebooks, new pens. Oh, we're gonna start something new, cue the song that I cannot sing from High School Musical. It's the start. Okay, I will not sing. Of something new. I cannot stop myself. Okay.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yep.
So, but now, because we are more adults, it gets a little bit trickier because it's not as defined. Like the timing is not maybe the same as it was, and we have to put in the work. We need to be. We feel like we need to start something to be the productive people. And that can be a little bit tricky because it could be a good, motivation maybe if you have taken a break during summer, but it can be also very bad if you don't have the energy to do that, right?
Yeah, you don't have that natural restarting cycle that's just built into the school year, and all you have is the seasons without the actual restarting. And so your brain is like, it should be renewed, but it's not. therefore I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Therefore I'm anxious.
Is that feeling, like always, is that feeling that you should be better, doing more, and you're not enough kind of feeling, right? Because you feel like you should be doing something, but your body, your mind says...
That should word.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yes, it's happening. All right. No worries, by the way, Ray. I've wrote you in the chat, but Ray says that they couldn't wake up in time for coming over and speaking here. But we appreciate you in the chat. Actually, I was trying so hard to write to you online, like on the app line, but I lost my account, so sorry. I also couldn't call you, but it's fine. Thank you for writing in socials. And yes, if you want to make a story on Instagram or tweet about us doing this Polyglots Talk, it helps a lot. And tag us at Gladly Global. You can find our socials down there, you see in the bottom left corner. So thank you so much for considering. Let's see. Also, no worries, Ray. I'm also on my second day of period today, so I understand the dizziness. No worries. We're taking it slow. Let me know in the chat if you're joining, because I need to... I don't hear you if you join, so you might just be there until the end. So, all right.
We know what that's happened.
Yeah, it happened before, so we know. Yes. Kyber says September means rain and cozy vibes, so I'm happy. That is actually amazing. I know a lot of people love autumn or like fall vibes for reading. We're gonna talk about this next month, probably, the reading part of it. Today we're more here about like doing this pillow action of soften a little bit, this feeling of must be productive, right?
Yes.
Yes.
There's no must. There's no should. Like, I literally have to rewrite my sentences even when I say them out loud. I'm like, well, you have to. I'm like, you get to.
I love that. I love that, Bront'e.
Or you don't.
Yeah.
I have to actively do that.
You get to.
And if it doesn't sound right when you say you get to do and you finish it, then like adjust it or take it off.
I love it.
Like.
Yes. Yeah. I like the language is powerful. This is a very good point. Whenever you say something, look back at it, maybe write it down and be like, maybe I could say this better, you know, like in a way that is more manifesting good things for myself and not putting me down. That's a very, very good point. Since we're talking about languages here, is on point for real. Let me see what Sidi-chan said. My September blues are more about not having much time for languages because of work and exams. I still study languages for exam, but it's different from following my personal loved pattern. I get it. Yeah. It's that feeling like you're getting busy again. Most of the people here study languages. Study languages because they like them, because they're motivated, because they want to dabble into different things. Even if you study languages academically or for school, it's a different thing. So here we talk about that self journey of, you know, discovering yourself through different languages, which is different from school most of the time, because it's a relationship with yourself, right? So yeah, it's true. Getting busier because of work or school, it means maybe having less time for this self-discovery journey, right?
And then you panic.
Yes. Yes.
Because you're like, well, what am I going to do now? Because I don't have as much time. The routines that I've set, now they're ruined.
Yes, exactly. I feel that is very much probably this centers the target of what it is my problem with the September blues, because it feels like maybe during the summer you have that feeling of, oh, I'm on holiday, it's fine, you know, you take it easy, you rest, and you create a routine that works somehow. And when you get busier you cannot do as much anymore, and and you feel like, when will I have time to do these things? And you start to panic because the time is not enough, right? And so maybe there's also a process of acceptance and, you know, rearrangement of time. That's important.
Yeah, you feel like you're not doing enough because the you who had more time did more than the you who doesn't have a lot of time, when those are two separate you know, identities or like experiences. And I think we give the same level of expectation to both, which, like, it's understandable, but it's not really valid. Like, we need to change that.
Yeah, it's also what is realistic, right? So you cannot stop sleeping at night to have the same amount of time. No, I know what you're thinking.
Unfortunately,
you can, but no, you don't. You don't do that.
Fortunately, sleep is not optional.
sleep is not optional. Okay. Also, yeah, absolutely, we need to do a High School Musical watch party marathon one day. By the way, do you know that Light Axolotl never watched High School Musical?
Wow.
What the heck? There are people like that. You missed out, man. You missed out.
Because watching it now is not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same.
Gonna be
Man, I remember when it was like, there was, sorry, I'm going to do an excursus here, but it's important somehow. When I was young and the first movie came out in Italy, and then there were all the magazines for like young teenagers that were referencing it somehow. So it was like the thing. But it was a time where internet was not a thing really much yet. So I remember I had a recorded version from the cable TV. I recorded it on a VHS, and I watched it so many times, man. It's just hits different like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Back in my day.
There's the nostalgia of rewatching something you watched when you were younger versus watching something that is old as an adult.
Absolutely.
That's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, also knowing all the songs, because if you don't know something about me, I despise musicals. I cannot stand musicals because I don't know, they just sound so silly to me. I prefer movies that are more like serious, and that's a preference. But High School Musical, man, that is just too iconic. I know all the songs, the lyrics and everything, so yes. Anyways, yes, everybody unfollow Axel.
We lured you in with the title of September Blues for Polyglots, and we have now tricked you into talking about High School Musical instead.
Listen, okay, now maybe I'm going on a tangent, but High School Musical speaks about summer love, and then it becomes like she moves to the school and they start going to school together. During the school year, they need to find themselves the real, vocation, and it's so hard to choose between basketball and theater, man. And it's just like human, the clashing of what you want to do with your time, and so it is relevant somehow,
It is. I just thought it was funny.
No, I was just going. Was being dramatic. Anyways, yes. Yes, I get to do the things is such a good point, Bront'e. By the way, I feel like we need to write this down. So you said, it's not I have to. It's not I have to do something. I have to, or I should.
I get to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or
so I get to study the languages I'm learning. I get to read this manga on my list. I get to listen to a podcast in another language. I get to actually talk with my friend in another language. Like, you get to do these, and it just shifts your energy. It shifts how you show up, because you're like, oh, I get to do it. Okay. Versus I have to. There's this weight and this pressure on your shoulders.
It's that feeling of there is a feeling of being grateful that is in this. I get to do this. It feels like I'm lucky because I get to do this. So you feel there's this feeling of being grateful that is so different from, oh, I have to, I should, I have this tension, this feeling of, in a way, feeling a prisoner of the things you need to do, your to-do list. which is so
Yeah.
beautiful. I like the difference there.
Es- Especially because when I'm not the coiner of this term, but like shoulding ourselves.
Shitting
You
yourself.
know what it? Yes,
Ooh.
instead of what it sounds like,
Mhm.
but like instead of doing that, because like when we let me backtrack. When we're saying things that we should do or we have to do, it's usually because of a couple different reasons. It's because we're trying to be our past selves when our current circumstances are different, and we're not like acknowledging that, respecting that, shifting our routines or whatnot. Or it's because we're looking at someone else and comparing ourselves to them, which again, different circumstances, different experiences, all these things that are different. You're not the same person. And we're like, well, they're doing it, therefore I should. No, no. Again, understandable why we think these things and why we go down that route in our minds, but we definitely have to pull away from that because it's not doing us any good. It's actually doing us a disservice to go down that route. But instead, it's like you get to do Anki if you want to, or you get to not do Anki and you get to like read.
Yeah.
Make sense into it. Like you get to do it.
Yeah, or you get to rest. That's also very acceptable, by the way.
Or that.
Right. So
you get to do no studying and just go to sleep.
Right, exactly. I really
Have
like
a
this.
snack.
It makes me. You were talking about, comparing ourselves with other people or even our past selves, because maybe we used to do so many things in the past and now we can't for one reason or the other. We don't have the energy, we don't have the time. And there was I did an oracle reading yesterday for my live streams on Twitch. By the way, I do study live streams every Friday afternoon. If you struggle with accountability or you need body doubling, that's something I do as well. So there's links down below for that. Together with so many other links that could be helpful, by the way. So check it out in the description.
Yeah.
Check also Bront'e in the description, by the way. You can find all the socials of all the people here. So we read an oracle card, and the card was about being water, it said. And there was this beautiful picture of a cloud that was on top of a stream of water that was pouring into the sea. And I really liked the image, and it made me think of that, what you just said, about, adapting and changing based on the circumstances that we're in. So it is, the water one is a cycle. So it goes back to the clouds, and then it becomes a stream, and then it becomes ocean water. And I feel like this feeling of being water. So it's not like when you're in the clouds as water, you don't have to pretend to be flowing like a stream, because that's your state right now. And I really like this metaphor to think about when you're in a certain circumstance. You need to adapt to what you are, but you can still be water. You can still be yourself. You don't have to pretend to be something else, and that's still like your essence is there, even if you're not as you were in the past or doing as much or whatever it is thing. And I really like this. So yes, be water, everybody. Little reminder.
I love that.
Yes,
Absolutely,
it was so
love that.
nice.
Be water, but you're in the clouds. Be water, but you're in the stream now. Different place, different circumstances, but it's okay.
It's okay, still you shouldn't beat yourself up for not being in the clouds anymore when you're a stream. You're different things. It's still beautiful, still useful, still amazing, and it's good to adapt and find yourself in that situation. Understand what works for you and what has to change. Let's see. Yes, we need to do a freaking. It's everything the chat talks about this High School Musical, which is amazing. Yeah, we should do a watch party and scream. And yes, those are lyrics. There are actually titles of songs, Axo, but that's High School Musicals 2. So there's 2 movies. I think 3. Did they do 4? I don't remember.
I don't know. After the second one, I was like, I don't know about this anymore, guys.
Yeah, the third one was a
But I don't
little
know what
bit
happened.
weird. The third one was a little bit weird. I liked it a little less. Still kind of iconic. I don't know if they did a 4th one. This is in my head. Yes. The internal battle of should is so real. Yeah, shoulding. Shoulding. This is what you said, right?
You gotta be very careful with that one. Shoulding.
Wait, okay.
Do not change the ud to I, because it's gonna be a different thing.
Okay.
Every time I say it myself, I'm like,
wait, what should I be? I'm a little bit confused. Sorry, I'm not a native speaker, and I don't know what you're...
No, not you. I was speaking to like everyone watching. Just like be careful when you're saying shoulding.
Yes.
Because someone might hear
something
else on instinct.
Are you saying that it sounds like... Okay, I get it now. All right. It's not like a completely different word to me, like shooting. Okay, shoulding. I'm gonna add an L there, so it's very different. Shoulding.
No,
okay.
you saying it was perfectly fine. Okay. I was just cautioning the people watching, if you've never heard the phrase shoulding, to be very careful about how you say it.
I hear it now. Yes. Okay. I think there's like a native speaker. To me, the two words just sound so different, but I think maybe native speakers would pronounce it in a way that can sound similar.
See, Axel gets it.
Yeah.
I see it. I just shed my pants. Exactly.
Okay, I see. I didn't hear the similarity until you pointed it out. So I was like, is this a word I don't know? Oh my. Yes. The third was the best? Okay. You were just older, right?
Wait,
okay.
You were just...
That is also probably one is why. I was in the theater losing my mind.
Speaking of older...
Yeah.
This is not on topic, but since Ray brought up the fact that we're older, at my job, I remember telling people how old I am. They thought I was like 21, and I'm not. And the phrase they said to me is the first time I've ever heard it, and I was like, oh my god, am I reaching that stage of life? They were like, you look so good for your age, and I was like,
I have this feeling though. Wait, I want to point out something here. Do you know when you watch like pictures of like people our age? So I'm 30 years old right now.
Yeah.
But when you watch pictures of people our age, like our parents or something like that, from 30 years ago, they look older. Like in the pictures,
yes,
they look older, like physically. You feel like, oh, they're adults, you know? And I feel, maybe, I don't know why, but I think because the age of being an adult, being considered an adult, feeling like an adult has shifted. And it feels like also physically it shifted a little bit. So we see people and we don't expect they're as old because of this process. And this is bad for the shoulding thing, because we feel like we should be adults, right? We should, because we are 30 years old.
And we don't feel like it.
Right. But it is a process. Society is changing, and you read everywhere, like they also say neurodivergent people. Normal people will reach complete brain development at 25. People who are neurodivergent don't reach development until they are 35, they say. So there are studies right now, because it's our contemporary problem, on the fact that we are still developing, we're still growing, and so it's interesting, and yes, why do we arrive here? Yes, stop shooting yourself, by the way.
Yes.
Let's see, there's there's not a 4th, but there's a movie about Sharpay. Yeah, let's go. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it in English, to be honest.
Yeah,
Sharpay. Yes, because another thing is, like, I watched all the movies in Italian, but the songs were still in English. So all the pronunciation of the names are in Italian. Yes. Ryan e Sharpay. Okay. I'm in a year slump, and it can relate so much to the frustration of current self and past self. Yes. Yes. Ray, I'm a little bit worried about you because I feel like there are so many beautiful things happening to you, at least from my perspective. I see you with a loving partner. You are getting married at the end of this year. I feel like there's so much joy in your life. I know that it's not everything that there is, but these feelings of like, oh, I should work, I should do things more, I should, do all the things, make more money or whatever. I feel like it might make, like, take away from the joy that is in your life. And I hope you don't beat yourself up for not coming for Polyglots Talk today, because it's completely fine. As long as there's 2 people, we got this. So no worries.
We've got your back.
Yeah, you got this, Ray.
And I also think, thinking about the grapple with like current self, past self, future self. This is my like never-ending struggle. So even though I am better at handling it, overcoming it, or like not letting it stop me, it's still here in the brain. And for example, I think about the me I was in college when I was actively studying 5 languages at the same time. Right now my philosophy is like 3 focus languages and everything else is a maintenance language. But back then I was actively focusing on 5. I think it was 5. I was taking Japanese classes. I was trying to restart Mandarin. I was improving my Spanish because I decided I actually wanted to keep it. I was starting French for the first time with a friend and maintaining / improving my Korean. And I was thriving. Like I was having fun with it. I was 5-6 hours every day. If I tried to do that now, I would like have to hibernate for a couple weeks. I would burn myself out. It is not my current state. I am like strategic time, like use my time more strategically. We're not doing an hour study session. We might do 15 minutes a couple times a day. Like, can't do that. That's not the version of me that I am anymore. But I do find myself going, oh, you should open up a textbook and do like an hour session right now. I'm like, should I?
Or do I get
And when I try to reframe it, yeah. So I reframe it and say like, oh, I get to study with the textbook, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And then that tells me, okay, maybe I don't get to do that. Yeah. Maybe that's not on my list.
Yeah, I feel like it's those kind of things. To a degree, I discovered that my how to say, my connection, my feeling of wanting to study has changed, because it used to be like that. It used to be like, now I'm gonna do a chapter in the book or whatever.
Yes.
And now I feel like I cannot keep that up as a routine for sure. So that would be like a very special thing for me. And instead, like doing anything between like researching for 10 minutes on YouTube for a new YouTuber that speaks in the language or something like that. That is also something that you can do to keep your brain in a feeling of, I'm touching the language in a way, I cannot think of the word, like I'm in contact with the language.
Yeah.
I'm having that relationship a little bit. And then when you have the energy, when you feel like it, I'm thinking, because now it's autumn is coming, a good thing could be to decide to go to a cafe and maybe bring your textbook there if you feel like it, or your book, and just stay there, and maybe if in that moment you feel like it's studying a little bit, and that could be very nice. That's something I would do probably. If you're by yourself, that's a very nice thing to do. Or bring a friend. Both of you can study together. Do a little bit like co-working in person. Sounds lovely.
Yes. And I like what you said about coming in contact with the language more. I think that's why in recent years, I would say like within 5 or so years, maybe a little bit longer, I've reframed into focus language and maintenance language, because for me, calling it a maintenance language for a period of time gives me permission to do things that normally would make me feel bad and feel like I'm not studying. So like listening to music and not actively writing down the lyrics and then pulling out the vocabulary and adding it to something, you know, I'm not doing that. I'm just listening to the music. And my studying brain says, that's not studying. That's not good enough. You have to, you should be.
Yeah.
But my maintenance language is like, oh, this is great. Look at you keeping Spanish on the brain. Look at you keeping Japanese in the mind, you know, or, and we've talked about this a lot, and changing the language of video games is one of my favorite things. I'm not actively studying sentences. I'm not, you know, having a notebook nearby. I'm just playing the game I was already going to play. And maintenance brain is like, look at you having fun and also practicing Korean.
Yeah.
You know, versus in my studying brain would be like, you're not writing down the words you don't know. You haven't looked them up in the dictionary yet. What are you doing?
Yeah. Speaking of video games, I got an interesting interaction with one of my students recently because he started playing a video game, Near Automata, if you're interested. It's a Japanese video game. He was playing it in English with Italian subtitles. And he told me he was so frustrated because whenever there was like a battle of sort, he didn't have enough brain space to fight and also read the subtitles of what the characters were saying. And for him it was like very distracting, so I told him, just put the subtitles as well in English, right? So then you need to concentrate on only one language all the time. And he was like, I try to do these things, and you know what's the funny thing? I actually started to understand what people were saying during fights, because my brain was not trying to search for the Italian. It was just like going for the English as well. And maybe he wasn't understanding all the words, you know, but because you were in that space of that language, maybe that helps to just, you know, recognizing something you heard before, or like getting a new input, even like just the way people say things. We speak about this a lot with Ray, but like every different language, every dialect of the language, people have a different way to express emotions, right? So getting to listen to those shades of expression is also super useful, and it's something you cannot study on the textbook, by the way. So
yes,
yeah. So it's good to do these things as well, to be in the language space is so valuable. Yes. Yes, play video
and
games,
I think especially
guys.
for
Sorry.
our people, yes, play video games. But I think especially in our space, as lovers of language and as people who love to study, or even just love the idea of study, if actively studying right now is not necessarily like doable, I think we also feel like, I lost my train of thought and I am so upset. I had the beginning of my thought and then it just said into the clouds with the water.
You're going through your cycle. Like,
yep. Brain just said, what were you trying to finish? It was really good too. I was like, yes, I'm gonna add on to your thought. Gone.
I hate when that happens. No worries. Let's hope that it comes back. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna read
hope so too. I'm gonna
messages.
try to follow the train.
No worries.
All right.
The water cycle.
Yes.
Let's go read some messages in the meantime. So we were talking about being old is not being old anymore, so we're still young for longer. And Ray said, on the bright side, we have longer time to use the neuroplasticity for language learning. True. That is like, that means do it now. Sorry, maybe I should say. But yeah, do it now. It is time. You still have time. It's not too late. And I have, like, most of my students are actually 60 or more years old, so don't feel like it's too late anytime. And use your brain. I think the more you use your brain as well, the more older you get, the easier it's gonna be to use your brain. So, and learning languages is like the best thing. Like doing like those like crosswords, etc. Like these kind of games for your mind are so good for making sure that you age in a way that so your brain stays active. So yes. pro tips. Let's see. Marcus says, I compare myself so much to back when I was 21. I was so productive and learning and actually remembering. Yeah, I sometimes think about my high school self and I'm like, how the heck was I doing all that stuff? Keeping up with like 12 different subjects and going to school every morning. I cannot imagine to be like that right now. It's just incredible to me.
It's wild.
It's wild. And that's why those experiences were in the past. And now we are in contact with, we're not in the clouds anymore. We're a stream. Then we'll go to the sea. So we need to adapt. We need to be watered in different states. Leave ourselves something to study for the time. Yeah, no, but I know a lot of like old people, like grandparents of friends who started learning a language when they became like retired, because that was like a way for them to use the internet. So they would search for videos, they would and that is like, yeah, you can do this the entire life, man. It's great, so that you have all the time. So you don't need to do so much right now, right? There's not pressure for that. Do you want to read what Ray said, Bront'e? I read all the messages.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. Life moments are helping me get healthier. I think I did need the brain dead year. Yeah, but it's hard not to feel because you have so many goals. Yes, having so many goals. We're like, I think so many of us are naturally ambitious people, naturally like overachievers or high achieving people, and we're like, we want to do all the things. We want to have these amazing experiences. Yeah, it's difficult for ambitious people.
I love
potato era is actually so necessary.
I love this sentence.
Yes.
Oh, potato era is actually so necessary for boss era. I'm gonna quote you that. Potato era is actually so necessary for boss era. Be a potato.
Absolutely.
So you can be
I love that
a
so
boss
much.
later. I'm gonna quote Ray 2024.
Exactly. I was that is such a good.
Yes, co-working is love language. To be honest, same. I get it. Co-working is my love language. I'm in a group chat with some 18, 19-year-olds, and even their chat speeds give me whiplash. I cannot deal with people who are in their early 20s anymore, man. The speed has changed. I feel it now. I feel it now. The speed has changed, and that's fine. Everybody send a potato in the chat. Be the potato. Feel like a potato.
Embrace your inner potato.
Embrace. Also, speaking about be water, potatoes can be so many things. You know, mashed potatoes, fried potatoes.
Yes.
And all the gnocchi. You can use potatoes so many ways. So be the potato, man.
What a very fitting thing to bring up in chat while we're talking about adapting. Be water. Be a potato.
Be a potato.
Adapt
and change and accept yourself and see how amazing it is to be yourself. We were introduced to the
even
technology.
The ugly potatoes become delicious things.
Right. The uglier the potato, the most delicious.
So even if you're going through really tough things right now, know that it's all going to end up very delicious. Very exciting.
Very delicious. At least you will be delicious mashed potatoes or something. We're introduced to the technology. They were born with it in their hands. Yeah, I see what you mean, Axel. So because I went back to university a couple of years ago, and I had classmates who were in their early 20s. So I can say the way that they studied was so different. The way that, for example, back in my day, everybody was taking notes with paper and a pen in class, but now everybody takes notes with their computer on and using Google, using online dictionaries. It's so different. the way that and I feel like I can learn from that a lot, a great deal. But at the same time, it's okay, you know. For example, whenever I study, I need to write down with a paper and with paper and a pen and colors and markers. And if I don't do that, that kind of like messes with my process and it feels a little bit less real. So it's, you don't have to adapt to something else. Like we were saying, like comparing yourself to, I should use more the computer to study or something like that.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. You can go on with your own ways, you know. That's how you that's what you're used to. So oh my god, that potato with water is a little bit sus. Potatoes also provide all nutrition needed to survive, apparently. Just a little fun fact. Yes, don't only eat potatoes, by the way. Have a various diet, please. That is a misleading fact.
This is not health advice.
This is not, we're not doctors. Or, yeah, well, anyways. Just eat many different things. The most colors you have on your plate, the better it is. This is what, which is also a very big metaphor for life, by the way. I really like that. When you eat, you know, different vegetables, if they have different colors, they have different vitamins, and it's good to get different things into your body. Same for life. Maybe it's good, you know, instead of having only potatoes, maybe you can have all these colorful veggies, and yeah, you won't have. Okay, I don't know how to continue the metaphor, but
I'm gonna continue. I got you.
Yeah, okay.
And sometimes we all have preferences too. So you might have liked something when you were younger and you hate it now. You might suddenly hate something, or you might have hated it when you're younger and you like it now. You might have hated it now, but you liked it when you're younger. I hope I said both versions of that. And also, like, your sibling might really like it and you don't, or you might love it and they, you know, so we all have these different preferences of vegetables
and you need to try them all so you know what you like.
Yeah, give them a chance.
Give them a chance. Okay. That works.
But then it's okay to embrace.
Then it's okay to go back to potatoes for a little bit.
Yes.
And then change again. Yeah.
And I will add what Ray is saying. I feel like when you're healthy, you should be water, and when you're stressed, you do your best as a potato. We might not be as fluid as we like, but we inch and we change and we do regardless. Exactly.
Yeah. There's like those things you see online where they say like sometimes your best is to get out of bed and drink some water. And so in that case, you're doing 100% of what you can do in that moment, and that's your best, and that's okay, you know. That's the best that you can do.
Absolutely.
Right. So
GPT died this name. Yes, it is the ChatGPT era.
Yo, for real, the amount of classmates that use like those kind of things for anything, it was crazy. I don't understand. I kind of understand, but it's like this feeling of trust in a technology that you don't know very well how it works or where it gets information from. I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm this very cynic person in front of, you know, when people are like using too much. They rely too much, because it's fine. It helps, of course. But if you're relying on something you don't completely understand, maybe that's not the best way. And I feel like there's this trust in technology right now in the news, because I feel like I knew something before technology, so I'm like, okay, so reality is a thing, and then technology helps us for that reality, right? And I feel like right now maybe it's a different topic, by the way. Yeah, I feel like I feel like the same way that people are like, oh, don't trust everything that is on Instagram and TikTok, right? Because anybody can make a reel or a TikTok about anything, right? But we have this feeling like, oh, I heard this person saying this, so it must be true, right? And it's hard to, everything is kind of there in this way. It's hard to distinguish what is real, what is not sometimes. Yeah, but it's a different topic for another time. We can talk about ChatGPT.
Absolutely.
Maybe bring a potato.
I also I also want to add, I feel like it's fitting for this conversation of, if you're trying to get yourself out of the September blues and you're trying to just take action, right? You're trying to study or maintain your skill. Maybe you're not actually trying to improve, but you're just like, I don't want to lose what I have gained over the summer, over the year. There's also this idea of when you're trying to reestablish the habit of studying, your routine of studying, or maintain it, trying to decide like, how should I reward myself, or how should I like, how do I do it? And I bring this up because I actually had a conversation with one person, but this is something I've seen from other people as well, where they're like, okay, I'm gonna start studying again, and before I study, like to get myself to study, I'm gonna say I can only do X when I study, right? And they fill in that X with whatever it might be. I see people filling this in with things like, I only get to eat breakfast when I study. I only get to take a nap when I study. And I'm like, those are requirements.
Yeah, those are things that you must
rewards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's
so I
not
just
optional.
sort of preface this saying, like, if you're trying to get back into it, we're using things that are optional as like the I guess positive pressure towards getting it done.
Yeah, we were saying earlier, exactly, going to the cafe to get a nice hot chocolate because it's gonna be chilly soon, and bring your textbook. So you say, okay, I'm going to a cafe and treating myself, but I'm bringing my textbook and maybe read a page or two or something like that, Yeah, it's crazy to think that somebody would be like, oh, I cannot eat breakfast because I don't want to study, so I'm not studying and I'm not eating breakfast. That's just crazy to me, like, to think about.
And I get it, which is why I was like, whoa, hold on, because I have found myself, past me mostly, who has been like, okay, you just got to finish this one thing and then you get to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Oh,
like,
that
I look back at me thinking
that happens to me all the time, by the way. I think it's one of those things when you're like focusing on something, right? And you're like, I don't want to interrupt because if I interrupt, it's going to be harder to start again, right?
Yes, exactly.
I get it.
But it, like, when you think of it outside of the situation, you're like, so you're just going to sit there and not go to the bathroom until you're done?
Yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
what if that's 2 hours?
Right. No.
And so one of the ways that I've helped people to reframe that is, instead of I have to study so that I get to, eat breakfast, for example, I say, while you're eating breakfast, you get to study. So like, take a bite. You can listen to a podcast and you don't even have to do anything else. Or, you take a bite and you read a sentence or two, and then you take another bite.
Yeah.
You're doing it at the same time. So you kind of combine those habits together.
Or
versus
I get it. Something that happened that I like that to a degree, but I also feel like sometimes, for me at least, meals are like the only time where I get to just do the meal sometimes.
Yeah.
So for
you want to
me,
enjoy it.
Yeah, for me what works is that the meal is the break. And so even if I start my morning with a break because it's my breakfast, that is for me the time to like kind of wake up completely, have my tea or coffee or whatever that is gonna help me later to get in the zone, right? So you start with a mindful moment of being like, I'm getting ready to do the thing. It depends on your routine, of course, but usually my mornings are pretty free, so I get to decide more or less when I start, but you can also wake up a little earlier to be able to do this. Do your breakfast mindfully and with using the time that you feel like you need, and to prepare yourself to do the thing after. That's also a very good thing. It depends on like how much time you have and everything, but because that grindset mindset that I always say, it feels like I need to fill every second of my life with doing something that has to be productive, right? So
and you don't,
exactly. So it can be very good to, like, if you feel like you have time to rest later in your day. For example, let's say you have breakfast and you listen to something, but then you work and then you get to take a walk, so you still have time later for the rest, for the mindfulness.
Exactly.
It's great. Like, I don't but also think about that way, like, do I have time during the day where I am letting my mind rest and
Just,
reset a
yeah.
little bit, be mindful to a degree, be away from my phone or something like that, so that's also very
No, I
important.
completely agree.
Mhm.
It's not my way of doing things, but I was like, okay, if we're going down this route,
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Here.
There's levels of definitely.
Yeah.
If you're gonna skip breakfast unless you study, no, do the thing while you're eating breakfast, at least, so you're eating,
Exactly. I'm like, let's at least make the habit of eating regularly first, and then we can
Yeah.
adjust even more.
Yeah. I also heard a video that was very interesting recently of a person. They were talking about mindfulness and how it's such a recent concept, because before, when we didn't have phones or computers, it was so much easier to be mindful, because you're waiting for the bus, you just wait for the bus. You're not like the biggest thing you could do could be read a book or the newspaper or something, or look around, but you're still like, if we were in the moment, and that would be so many things that now we feel with having a phone and like checking all the messages and emails. Before, we didn't have this, so we were just naturally mindful in this moment. And so it's been like so much as a priority for me to search for those mindful moments somehow. And some things that I started to try out were walking before dinner, for example, walking around and being in places where you wouldn't be normally. It's like kind of activates this feeling of like looking around and listening to different sounds, etc. But it's I recommend it if you struggle with your routines and everything. Maybe it's because you're doing too many things that are like connected to technology, connected to studying, productivity, work, and maybe you need something that is let your mind kind of experience something else in a slower way as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, school trauma, no bathroom until the end of the period. Man, that is so real. That is so real. Yes. Only pee on break, not during work. Thank you, high school teachers. Yeah. Yeah, we don't approve. Let's see. Mindfulness was meditation, but our culture, since any modernizations, just continue to lead us to the extreme opposite of Zen. Yes. So, yeah, you're right. Mindfulness existed as a word, but like we already had some moments, I feel, where we were present, and the only thing that we were doing was waiting or being there, And I feel like now it's just, at least for me, it's very hard to spend any time away from my phone. And so any moment I'm like, oh, let me check, I got an email, is it important? Or you are always available online, which is something that...
Yes.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. So...
Yeah. And I get what you mean, too. That, like, before the heavy reliance on the technology that we use now, mindfulness was passive. It just happened. Now we have to actively choose to turn, tech off and mindfulness on, whereas before it was just in our routine, in our environment, in our nature. But now it is not a part of our routines. And so we have to actively do the thing.
We need to search for it.
Actively actively pull your headphones off when you're outside just to listen to what the world sounds like.
Yeah, I get it. Man, touching some grass without taking a picture of it.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my.
Look, guys, I touched grass.
Right. Do you even are you even outside if you don't post an Instagram story about it? I'm not sure
to tell
about
people
that.
that you went outside.
Yeah, that you touched grass. So yeah, to recap a little bit what we said, our hour of rambling, because now it's getting time to wrap up a little bit. So we talked about September blues, feeling off, shooting. Stop shooting yourself, people. That was a big thing. Another thing is watch High School Musical, all 3 movies.
Yes.
Another thing that we said at the end here was be water and don't be afraid of being a potato for being a boss later. Adapt to your situation. Don't compare yourself with your past self or other people who live in a completely different situation from you right now. Find the ways that work for you right now in this moment. And lastly, right now we were talking about mindfulness and finding time to rest, connecting activities to others in a way that is healthy and leaves time to also have time to not be productive sometimes, you know? Yes. All right. I think
rest is a requirement, not a reward.
Yes. Yes, it's not optional, guys. Let's see. Ray says, I think part of why I'm also struggling to find balance this year is because I'm learning to be present and I don't look at my technology nearly as much. That also means that I'm not kept kept in check by anxiety and a tight clutch to all the information systems and apps and schedules. Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's important would be to find, to me, you know what works, Ray? I kind of put all the activities that require scheduling in 3 days of the week. So the rest of the days I can kind of like, I know I don't need to look at my schedule, that even if I don't look at my schedule is fine. I can just, think about other things later. But these 3 days, those are the days that I keep an eye on my Google Calendar, keep an eye on my schedule, and make sure that I get the things done. So that could be also helpful to put activities that are scheduling related only in a few days, so you have breathing time the rest of the week. At least that's how I do it.
Yeah, I do a similar thing.
Yeah. For me, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays are the days where I put my activities. The rest of the days, I'm lost in the wind, guys. If you write to me, I might not answer, But that's, that's maybe one day of the week where you schedule the stuff, the meetings and everything, That could work as well. All right. I think we will wrap up now. Bront'e, thank you so much for coming so early in the morning. Yes, we did it. Thank you so much.
Always love these.
Yeah, it's nice talk. Thank you so much. And don't forget to follow our socials and join the Discord server if you haven't. All the links are in the descriptions. Check out all the links there, because there's so many things that you can discover. And we hope we've been helpful a little bit. Thank you again. We'll see you soon. Bye bye. Ciao, guys.
Bye.